Hello, welcome to Needful Things again. Today we're going to make a candy cane for Christmas in July. It's a pretty large candy cane, and let's see how tall it is. It's about 14 inches. And about 6 inches around. So we're going to need some red yarn, some white yarn, green. I'm using the sparkly red, of course, from Joann's. I'm using this green for some leaves we'll be making later. And I'm also using the white sparkly yarn from Joann. I think it's called Twinkle. And just a little tiny bit of yellow. And I even had some that was yellow and green mixed. And those are for the little things we're going to put inside the flower. These are the leaves we're going to make for the poinsettia. And the leaves to go behind the poinsettia. It's very simple. It's very easy. You'll need a pair of scissors, a yarn hook. I'm using a J and a darning needle because we're going to have to sew our flower on later. And you'll need some cotton polyester batting to stuff it with. To be perfectly honest with you, I didn't have any on hand, and since I was doing a demonstration, this one is actually stuffed with toilet paper. So if we ever have another great toilet paper shortage, I'll just rip this candy cane open and I'll be the only one in town with toilet paper. So let's get started. So we're going to start with our white yarn. And we're going to make a magic circle. Like so. I always do a chain one just to hold it there. Then we're going to do half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 half double crochets. Then we're going to close our magic circle. And we'll just slip stitch into the first half double crochet to close the circle. Then we'll pull it a little bit tighter. And now what we're going to do, there's 16 half double crochets. This whole entire candy cane is 16 stitches around, 16 stitches around. There's no decreases, no increases. All we do when we get up here in this red part here is we'll drop down 6 of the half double crochets will become single crochets so that we can make a curve here, and then on the end we'll just crochet it spiral down to finish, unless you want yours to look the same as the bottom, and then you can do it that way, but I think it looks better if it's more rounded at the top. Get that yarn out of the way. That red's trying to get in here. Okay, so we take our yarn, chain 1. Now this whole thing is also half double crochets, as I said, and we're going to do the back loop. 1, 2, 3, and we're going in the back loop. 4, oops, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Then we're not going to spiral down like we do with the Christmas tree. We're going to do this in the round. So every time we're going to be going in one direction and then switching back to the other direction on every single row. So we're going to join into our first half double crochet that we did. Chain 1. And then we're going to do 16. We're going to chain 1, of course. Then we turn our work and go in the opposite direction. So we did around this way. Now we're going to chain 1, turn our work, but we're going to go back the other way. We're not going, we could go in the round this way, but this would change your seam here. So we went that way. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. Also in the back loop. So we're going to do 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're going to do 16. So in our first half double crochet, in the back loop, 1, 1, 2, oops, sorry, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are also in the back loop. And we'll do 16 around till we get to the starting half double crochet. These are all half double crochets in the back loop. The last one, connect it to the first one, chain 1, turn your work, and we're going to go back in the opposite direction. But now we're just going to start crocheting in the stitch. No more back loops. Half double crochets all the way around. You'll have 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth until you have 16, and we'll go around and meet you at the other side. And there's each color has 7 rows, so that's pretty easy. We're on row 2 of this one, because we don't count the top part as a row. Join to the first one. Chain one. Turn your work, and we're going back in the other direction. You always have to go back in the opposite direction or you'll spiral down your candy cane will spiral, which would be fine, I guess, but that's not what I'm doing. So in the first one we do our double crochet, half double crochets, and we do this for 7 rows. Join our work, chain one, go back in the other direction, do half double crochets, see, if we weren't doing this in the round we wouldn't go, switch direction, but we are, so we're going to switch direction on every single row. It sounds crazy, but it's very easy. Once you start doing it, you'll just get used to it. And sometimes you probably should stop and check and count your stitches to make sure you are doing 16 on every row, so you don't have a weird shaped candy cane at the end. Go back the other direction. And 16. Connect to the first one, chain one. Let's see how many rows. Now I'm going to check my rows, make sure everything's good. Okay, so here we are. This is what we're doing. We're just going down, and it's also best to stuff it as you go. I'm using the toilet paper, like I said, because I don't have any polyfill on hand. I like to tighten up this magic circle, like so. That's what we're making. And you just keep going until you have 7 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be my 6th row. I like to just tuck that string down inside so I don't get it caught up in my work. This will be my last row of white. And 16, and we're going to connect to our first stitch, but instead of pulling the white through, we're going to start with our red for our candy cane. And I'm just going to pull that yarn through right up in there, tighten up this white one, chain over, and go back in the other direction with my half double crochets. I will, I'll tighten this up a little bit, the white one, pull it to the back. And you can cut it off if you want to. I'm not going to. So then we'll just crochet that red tail in there with our half double crochets in the opposite direction. You can tie that yarn off if it's in your way and just tie it on again when you get back to the white section. I'm just securing down that red tail. If you don't know how to change colors or tie on a new yarn, there's lots of videos out there to show you that. And see, by doing that, we keep our seam straight. And you can start stuffing it at this point as well. I try to keep my white one out of the way because just in 7 rows I'm going to pick it up again, so I'm not cutting it. I'm just going to pull it up because it's on the inside so you can't see it. You could cut it if you want to. I mean, look, you can cut this. Boom, it's cut. No more white. You can cut it and then tie it off in there and secure it. I didn't secure it, but you could. You should, as a matter of fact. Or you could just crochet it in with the red. I can do that as well. I'll just cut that tail so it's not in the way. I just crocheted that tail in. You don't have to do that. I just did it because it was there. Okay, so we'll keep going with our red. We'll do 16 red and around. And when we get to the end, we will connect to our first stitch, just like we did with the white section. We'll have 16 red stitches as well. It's always going to be 16 stitches around. So if you counted and it's not 16, you made a mistake. And you need to figure out where it is. It's very simple. You mess up a row, easy to pull it out. We went that way, we were going this way, now we'll turn our work and go back the other way. With our half double crochets in the red section. And we'll do 7 rows of the red, and then you can tie off the red if you want to, and then tie your white on and start that way. Keep so you don't have a lot of yarn hanging around. And so I think at this point you get the idea of what we're doing here. So you just keep going with your red until you get to the 7 rows, and then you'll add back in your white. Do 7 rows of white, and 7 rows of red. This is a very easy Christmas project. It's fun, it's pretty, it's fun to decorate it after you make it. Chain 1, now we're going back in the other direction. You see, and that's what we're doing. So if you start stuffing it now, like I said, I don't have any polyfill, so I'm just going to stuff it with some tissue to show you what I'm doing. So I'm just going to stuff it in there. Keep my yarn out. And you just stuff it in and fill it out. As you go. It just makes it easier to work with it. I'm not going to do the whole thing, I'm just going to show you. And that's what you'll be doing. So you have your little candy cane started, and you just keep doing the red. And we did the white. Now we're on the red. So you'll do the red, 7 rows. Then you'll switch to the white, and you'll do 7 rows. And then when you get back to the second red section, that's where I'll show you how to do the single crochets to make it round. So keep going until you get to you'll do this red section and the white section, and then we'll be back to the red section, and we'll meet up again, and I'll show you what to do in that section. Okay, so we're back again. I'm sure you're all the way up to here. Up to here on yours. What I've done is I'm making a mock-up because I want to show you. So you've done your red, we're back on your white. You did your white, you did your white, you did your red, you did your white. Now we're back on your red. So I've joined my red back in because this is where we're going to change to single crochets in the back. But we're going to do 3 rows of red, just half double crochet, 16 stitches, 3 rows. So we'll do that. and 16. Join to our first stitch. Sometimes those little shiny things get caught. Turn, we're going back in the other direction. This will be our third row of the red right here. This is where we're working, this section here. So we're on our third row. Let me join there. Okay. 1, 15 and 16. And we'll close our row. Do a chain, turn the other way. We'll still be going, back and forth in the opposite direction every time. So now on the fourth row here of the red, we're going to do 3 single crochets to begin. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to do our half double crochets all the way around until we get to the last 3 stitches. So we're doing our half double crochets. Okay, we're at our last 3 stitches. Make sure we have 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's make sure we have the 3. 1, 2, 3 there. So in these last 3 stitches here, we're going to do single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Come together. Make a chain. We're going to go back in the opposite direction, starting with 3 single crochets. And then back to our half double crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then the last 3 will be single crochets. 14, 15, 16, 3 single crochets, slip stitch into the first one, chain 1, turn your work, go back in the other direction, starting with 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, half doubles, until you come to the last 3 stitches where you would do 3 single crochets. And we'll be doing that the rest of the way in this pattern. Even on the white section, we're still going to do it. So it keeps, giving us, it will make it bend and give you that crook that you need to make the cane. Our last 3 stitches get single crochets. So we're doing, 3 in the beginning single crochets, 3 in the last 3 stitches, that's 6 single crochets in the back section. Slip stitch it to the first one, chain 1, and we're going back in the other direction. And of course we'll do our 7 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this is 7. 3 singles to start. And the half doubles until we get to the last 3 stitches where we would do the 3 single crochets. And you'll be stuffing your polyfill inside of there the whole time you're doing this because it'll make it easy for you to work with. We're in the last 3 stitches. We'll do the single crochets. 1, 2, and ooh, that mylar. And 3. Single slip stitch into the first one. Okay, that was our 7th row, so we're going to be switching to our white color. I'm just going to cut this thread. Pick up my white. Pull it. Go into my loop. Pull in my white. Tighten up that red line. Okay, 1 stitch. Then we'll be going in the opposite direction. We'll do 3 single crochets as before with the white as well. I don't like those strings hanging, so I'm just going to cut them. We did our 3 singles. Now we'll go back to our half doubles. And when we get to the last 3 stitches, we will again do the 3 single stitches, just like we did with the red. And you're stuffing it, you know, while you're working, so it takes on the shape of your candy cane. We're in the last 3 stitches. We're going to do singles. And we're going to connect to our first one. Chain 1, go back in the other direction like we did all the way through. So it keeps our seam in line. Do our 3 singles. 1, 2, 3. Back to the half doubles. And we'll just go all the way around to the other side. For the last 3, we'll do the 3 singles again. Because now we're working in this section here, this part here, and we'll just do it until we decide we want it to end. I'm going to stuff a little more paper in here. So that it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. Gives it a little sturdiness. Okay. And you'll just continue like that. Half double. You can also make straight candy canes too, because I remember when I was little, we used to get them that didn't have the hook on the top. I remember those as well. So they do exist. Then we come to our last 3. We do our single stitches. Join together. Chain 1 and go back in the other direction. Start with our 3 singles. And we go back to our half doubles. Until we get to our last 3. Where we do our singles. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and 3 single crochets. Connect with a slip stitch to our first stitch. Chain, whoops. Chain 1, go back in the opposite direction, beginning with our, and you see what's happening is we did it in the red, so what's happening is it's starting to curve like that, and this will just keep curving around. And draw 3 singles. And back to the half doubles. And 3 singles, close it up. Chain 1, go back in the other direction. And you see how that's starting to bend around like that? It's starting to bend around. And you'll just keep doing that all through the white. As you know, till you get to what looks like about the same size as what you've done in your other sections. You'll do the 6 in the back of the red, the 6 all the way in the white, and then you'll just start spiraling it out at the end so that it closes up. And when we get to the end of it to close it up, we will just start doing our half double crochets. And this time we're going to spiral instead of do it in the round. So what I'm going to do is just go in that stitch right there into the middle of the stitch. You see? Right here, I'm not going in the chain of the stitch, I'm just going in the actual stitch right here. And I'll just keep going like that. And if you want to, you know, decrease 1, you can do 2 together, like this. It makes it start to get a little smaller if you want a smaller end. You can do another decrease. So we've decreased it down to 14 stitches, I believe. And there's no, you don't decrease in any particular order. If you just feel like you want a little smaller, you just put a decrease in there and it'll start to get smaller. But we're not going in the round, so it's going to change how it looks. And you just decrease it until it, till you get to however you want your point to be, how much you want it to come into this. You'll just do those decreases. Like 1 or 2 on each row. Like here's 1. Just do 2 together. And it just gets smaller at the end. Like yarn over, go through your stitch, pull up a loop, pull up another loop from the next stitch, yarn over, pull through all the loops. You've just put 2 together, you've decreased. And you'll do that as you feel it's necessary for however large you made your candy cane. You might have made yours bigger than mine or smaller, so you'll go on that. I mean, and you can just, see how it's narrowing down. And if, however narrow you want your end to be, like, like this, just narrow it down to that point and then close it up. But if you do the decreases, like 2 or 3 on each row, if you do 3, it'll decrease faster. But if you do 2, it'll close up slowly. So I'm just doing half double crochets, spiraling, till it starts to close up by decreasing a couple of stitches each row, as I feel like it needs it. It's totally left up to your discretion as to how you want the end of your candy cane to look. Just did a decrease. I would just start out with like 2 decreases and then work in 3 and see, if it's closing up like the way you think it looks good. And then you just keep going. We'll do a decrease here. And you see it gets smaller and smaller. And you have to end at some point, so. So you'll just keep going till it ends. And then just close it up. Just like you did the Christmas tree, really. It's kind of similar to that. Yeah. I'm just going to close it up like that. Pull out that yarn. And see what you've done is you've made a little point there, so that when you go around and you stuff it, you'll keep going. And this is what you'll have when it's done. And now what we're going to do is next we'll be working with these petals, which are for a poinsettia type situation that we're just going to put right in the middle of it. So I'm going to show you how to make those. And we're going to be using our same J hook. We're never changing hooks throughout the whole process. And we're going to also be making these little leaves the same way. Very simple. The poinsettia flower itself is 12 chains. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is the bottom of it right here where we start. And we're going to start with, in the very first stitch from the hook, a half double crochet. Then we're going to do a half double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, triple crochet, or treble, treble crochet in the next stitch, treble in the next stitch, double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet, and a half double crochet. Oops. Now, that's what we have. We're going to go into the very same side of the other side. Right here in the very first stitch, we're going to pull a slip stitch through there. Not tight, because we're going back in that same side of the stitch. So we're going to do a half double crochet where we just pull that chain slip stitch through. Then we're going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch, like so. Then in the next one we're going to do double crochet. Oh, excuse me. We did. Do that extra third half double crochet. There's 3 in the bottom. Then we'll do the double crochet, double crochet, triple crochet. Sometimes you have to push into the stitches. Ooh. Triple, another triple crochet in the next stitch, triple crochet in the next stitch, double crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, and a half double crochet in the last stitch. Then we'll go into that stitch on the other side, the loops at the bottom, and pull through a loop, cut your yarn, pull that. That's the point of your flower. And that's the petal for the flower. Now, the petal for the leaves is exactly the same, except it's 8 chains. You start with 8 chain stitches. So we do a slip knot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. First one, we'll do a half double. You see here, we're starting here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches, so we have 2 half doubles. Or with this one we're going to do a half double, then we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. Right here, you see? And then we're going to do another double crochet in the next stitch. Ooh. And a triple. 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 And a half double, or no, a double. Sorry about that. And then a half double. Then we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to go to the other side, pull a slip stitch through so it gets a little squared off at the end, and go back in that same stitch and do your half double, double, triple, 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 or treble, and a double, double, and a half double in the last one. And then we'll do the chain under the stitch at the bottom. Just do a slip stitch. There's 2 loops there. Pull it through. Cut your yarn, pull it through, pull it so you have the point of your leaf. And there's your little leaf. Very simple. So, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves, so I can show you what we're going to do to the candy cane. This is my marker for where I started my single crochets on the curve. So now we're going to need to get our darning needle. And our flower petals have the little square section at the bottom. Now you can just put them wherever you want to put them, I guess. You know, I'm just going to put them anywhere randomly. Let me get some red yarn. Cut a piece. Thread the needle. I'm just going to sew them on. Just going to tie this thread in with it. And you can hide and cut all your threads, you know, and do all that later. So I'm just going to sew it in. Make a flower. And just put it in however you feel like, you know, it looks like a flower. There's no right or wrong way. And you know, you can stick a leaf in there. Just sew it all in. So you see what we're doing? And you just keep adding your flowers and your leaves. Something very relaxing about sewing. I sew very well. I just don't really do it that much, but it is relaxing. Here's our last one. I think I'll put it right here. And then, after you do your flower, I'm just taking some yellow yarn, making a chain. 1, 2, single crochet in the first one. Just slip stitch them together. Cut the yarn, pull it out, and boom, you got a little dot. And so what that is, let's knot this up. And we're going to cut this red yarn off after you tie it off. And go up under here with my crochet hook. The little dots we just made. Pull that through. Just pull it through somewhere, the other one somewhere else. Just pull it through. Tie the strings underneath. Like so, in a knot. Cut them off. And we're making the little, I guess, what are they called? Stamens? Is that what they're called? So just go up under the flower. Pull them through, pull the things through and tie them underneath and cut the yarn. Well, and you just pull this one through on the other side somewhere. Cut that yarn after you tie it in a knot. God, these scissors. This one just happened to have a little green in it, so I just decided to use that as well because I've seen that inside a poinsettia before. And you just tie those strings and cut them off. And you just put those in the middle. Then you could take some ribbon if you want to. Put under here. Tie yourself a bow. Okay, that's better. A little tighter. You can buy a bow already made. You can make a bow. And then you've made your beautiful candy cane with your poinsettia flower and your bow. It's a fun project. It's quick, it's easy, and I think it'll make a pretty candy cane. Enjoy your candy cane. Merry Christmas.